In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 Ds that I've been forbidden to talk about. The first D is the word dementia. These last few days, I've gotten into heated arguments with a person who shall go unnamed. I really wish I could be more straightforward in telling the story, but due to privacy matters and in an effort to not inflame the situation, you will have to read between the lines. Okay? So you'll listen carefully. I will drop hints, but I'm not going to overtly say certain things, at least not intention. So I'm having this discussion about a person, an older person that's 90 years old. This person does not like that I am using the D word. The D word is dementia. And we're having this argument she's trying to make a case that this 90-year-old person is certainly old, but being forgetful is not dementia. And I'm thinking to myself, no fucking shit. I already know this. Me using the D word, dementia, early signs of dementia, does not mean that I like to use it. It does not mean I'm trying to insult a person or belittle a person. However, if there is a situation where I am trying to get across what's going on in a concise manner, I'm not going to list all the characteristics that I find to be consistent of dementia that exceed forgetfulness. For example, a person that constantly babbles. And babble is my word. It is not a technical term. I'm not a doctor. Okay? It's just a term that I use. When you babble, in my view, when you babble, you're saying things that don't make sense, or you're repeating yourself, or you're asking questions repeatedly. The person in question is asking the same questions like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in a row. And every time we give an answer, the question gets asked repeatedly. This is not forgetfulness. This is, to me, as a non-doctor, as a person that sees this up close, this is not idle forgetfulness. I get forgetful, in that sometimes I forget people's names, I can't find the word, and that sort of thing. But when you have a person that can't pay their bills, they get letters, they don't know where they put their letters. When they read the letters, they don't know how to respond. They say they're going to do things, but they can never follow through. The list is quite long for me to use the word dementia. And for the record, when you Google the word dementia, it's a loose term. When you Google the word dementia, it's a broad term. It can encompass many, many things. But apparently, it's a taboo word. It's a taboo word. And it is making people nuts that I'm using the D word, dementia, as a way of describing situations in a pattern of behavior. Now, of course, suddenly I'm being attacked because I'm using a perfectly acceptable word. I think it's an acceptable word. It's an unpleasant word. So sort of like the other D word, like dying or death. So I'm jumping ahead. Those are the 2 other words that apparently you can't use, right? You can't say death. You can't say die because people are offended. Or they think that if you say it, it makes it true. Oh, okay. So guess what? I've got the secret to immortality. The secret to immortality is to never, ever say the word die. Never, ever say the word death. Never, ever say the C word cancer. If you don't say it, it won't happen. You understand that? Now, obviously, I'm being a little sarcastic. Obviously, I'm doing a little venting. I apologize. But I'm driving after 3.5 weeks. I feel being trapped in Central Florida with no way out because of responsibilities that I feel I want to take on. No one's holding a gun to my head. Let me be clear. No one's holding a gun to my head. My conscience did not allow me to leave the least 3.5 weeks. Basically, put my life on hold. But anyway, I don't want to go too far. Sorry, I'm kind of meandering. This is obviously not a script. I'm driving. I'm doing some long distance driving. And I'm just running this video because I feel like this is something that needs to be talked about. But anyway, let me get back to the 3Ds. So the dementia thing is a bad word. Can't use it, even though it's a broad-based term. It is not a diagnosis. But of course, saying that somebody doesn't have something definitively is not a diagnosis, right? So if you say, oh, like me, okay, you see this blubber here? I am not fat. I can say it all I want, but anybody that looks at me knows I'm a little fat. But if I say I'm not and I deny it enough, I guess that makes it true, right? Yeah, that's another D word, right? Let's deny. Let's just deny reality, right? Let's not deny what we hear. You have to be a doctor, right? I mean, so that's the implication. Only a doctor, only a medical professional can use the D word, right? And it's perfectly okay to deny. I can deny I'm fat. I can deny that I look Chinese. I can deny that I'm on my best behavior right now, right? There's many things I can deny. I can deny that I'm actually driving. I'm not driving, okay? I'm going to deny I'm driving. But if you look in the camera in the back, right? I guess I could deny and say, hey, those are Hollywood special effects. Those trees that you see passing me by, okay? My steering wheel, my seatbelt. This is just all a big elaborate setup. It's just, I'm just trying to, I'm not actually driving. You understand that, right? All right, so let's move off of dementia. All right, so that's enough. We'll revisit that topic in another video, I'm sure. So let's talk about death. We can't talk about it, right? Well, let's go use euphemisms. You know, I've had a friend who was like, oh, and so I'm not mad at him, but, you know, and he's actually very polite and very respectful for me. And he was saying, oh, you know, this person is, I can't remember the exact words, but very close to heaven's door or something like that. And I'd never heard that, right? Knocking on heaven's door. I was like, wow, that is just so polite. It's so polite. It's so gentle when you say knocking on heaven's door. But I'm a bad person, right? I'm a bad person for saying that this older person will probably die. It will become a reality. I mean, it doesn't matter how much I protest. I'm pretty sure most of us understand this. But you see, you can't discuss it. You can't discuss it in some circles with some people. The only way that you can ever discuss it is if it actually happens. And then there has to be chaos, right? But we can't be prepared, right? Whether it's like 1 year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, right? We're just not going to be prepared. We're just not going to have any plans whatsoever. Let's just let the shit hit the fan and see where it all ends up, right? But yeah, we're not going to talk about death. We're not going to use the D word. We're not going to say, hey, somebody may die, like me, right? I'm going to live forever. I'm going to live forever. All I need to do is eliminate the vocabulary. And guess what? You know what? I don't give a shit about anybody, right? It's all about me. So I'm just going to not tell anybody what I think, what I would like. Like, for example, I want to be cremated. I'm not going to tell anybody that I prefer to be cremated. I'm not going to tell anybody that I don't want to feed the sharks in the funeral industry who take advantage of grieving. I'm not going to want to feed the shark-infested funeral industry, the death industry. They're worse than used car salesmen. At least with used car salesmen, they're dealing with people that are generally of sound mind, and they're generally even-keeled, maybe a little bit financially naive, or a little bit mechanically naive, but all in all, at least you're dealing with somebody that's kind of on even keel. Versus the death industry, right? They're trying to make sales, make all these commissions, and using people's vulnerable emotions against them. But okay, anyway, I don't want to get too far off of that, right? But my point is that we just can't have any sort of discussions. So there you go. People don't like it when I use the word dementia. They don't like to use the word death. They don't like to use the word dying one day. They don't like that perhaps we should have a discussion, or we're just going to leave it to the government, or we're just going to let it go, let nature take its course, right? Because that's just the way it works, right? People die all the time. And because there's a universal plan, right? When people die. I think not. Okay, I'm done. All right, that's it for now. If you found this video helpful, give me a like and subscribe if you want to keep following my story. See you in my next video.